virtual public forum on this very issue 2 weeks from today. Dana, maybe a good time to speak up. Dana?
Yes, okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on it, but I'm still going to use it. Picks up a lot of stuff. Thanks.
So more buses of migrants from Texas arriving earlier today at dawn in New York City. Our next guest started the idea and says his decision is now exposing the hypocrisy of the mayor of New York, Eric Adams. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is our guest now. And sir, good morning. Good morning to you.
You too, Bill. Thanks.
Appreciate you being here. I think they asked Eric Adams about a week ago well, he said he was going to go to Texas and campaign against you. That was 2 weeks ago. Last week, they asked him if he's talked to you. He said he hasn't. I'm assuming you haven't talked to him. Why not?
So we haven't.
Yeah,
but
why not pick up the phone and have the appropriate conversation? What do you think about that, Governor?
Well, we did invite him to come down to the border and see what's going on down here. We make the same invitation to the mayor of Washington, D.C., as well as anybody, because here's the deal, Bill, and that is that most of America has not really understood the magnitude of the problem that we have on the border until we started sending these buses up to New York. Remember, this is not a Texas problem. This is an American problem caused by the President of the United States of America. And so many people have been blind to this until suddenly buses of migrants started showing up in their city, which is a sanctuary city, by the way. But we still have an open invitation to the mayor of New York to come down to Texas and see exactly what's going on. Americans in places like New York would benefit from that, because if all Americans saw what we see every single day, they want to put pressure on the president like we have been doing to change the president's policies. Remember this, 2 years ago, we had the lowest border crossings in decades. And then when President Biden took over, he eliminated all of the policies that created a secure border. And now we have the highest number of illegal border crossings ever.
One of the things that you had mentioned is the sanctuary city part of New York City, and you wrote in an op-ed that that's hypocrisy. And Mayor Adams said to 1010 Wins Radio that someone get this man a dictionary. He's talking about you. Hypocrisy is claiming you love America and then decrying the words on the Statue of Liberty. I don't know what he means by that. I mean, what's interesting about what you've done is that Adams cannot criticize you without also pointing everybody to look at what's actually happening at the border. And I think that's one of the reasons that it's being that you are having an effective policy choice here, because other media then has to cover the story.
You're exactly right. And remember this, for almost a year or two into the Biden administration, there pretty much was only one TV station that exposed what was going on the border, and that was Fox News. Now suddenly, ABC, NBC, the New York Times, and some other outlets that are mainstream media, they're having to cover what's going on the border because it has showed up on their doorstep. But going back to what the mayor's office was talking about, they were seeming to pledge allegiance to the Statue of Liberty. Remember this, when I took an oath of office, I swore to protect, preserve, and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, as well as the state of Texas. It's the Constitution that guides what must be done here, and that is to follow the Constitution's provision that Congress makes the laws to secure the border, but the president is not enforcing the laws passed by Congress. I'm upholding my oath. The President of the United States is not upholding his oath. We need more Americans to call on the President to uphold his oath and enforce the immigration laws of the United States.
When do you think he'll do that? I mean, look at the fentanyl reports now. In 2021, they seized almost 11,000 pounds. This is nuts, and it's wrong. So, and there's no message, Governor, from the White House to try against these numbers.
Right, and so many Americans are losing their lives every single day because of the fentanyl that is coming across the border from Mexico. And law enforcement has seized enough fentanyl to kill every man, woman, and child in America. And so this is extraordinarily dangerous. They're doing nothing about it. And I'll add to this, because this is also an all-time record. Under the Trump administration, for 4 years, there were about 11 people on the terrorist watch list who were apprehended coming across the border. Under the Biden administration, I think that number is now over 80 in just less than 2 years. And those are the people who are caught. the people on the terrorist watch list, they pay more to the cartels to evade detection. And so what we do not know is the number of terrorists who have made it across the border, who are infiltrating the United States of America. My point is this: what the President of the United States is doing, he has abandoned his responsibility for national security to keep our country safe against terrorists, as well as to keep our country safe from deadly drugs like fentanyl. We've already had an outbreak of fentanyl deaths. It could be catastrophic here in the coming months.
It'd be interesting if the mayor of Del Rio and the mayor of New York City got together. Local government's not easy, but when you have that many immigrants coming across the border, they could have a good conversation on that, I bet. Anyway, Governor Greg Abbott, great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's been